This video is actually for those who are interested to apply as an ALT or Assistant Language Teacher here in Japan under the JET program. Okay, konnichiwa minasan. Hello everybody. Alright, welcome back to my channel para sa aking mga dati ng subscribers and to the new ones, sa mga bagong bisita dito sa channel ko. Welcome to my channel. This is Sir JR's channel. Okay, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Jerry Antonio Ratmac Jr. I am from Santiago City, Isabela, Region 2, Cagayan Valley region. If you're interested or if you're planning to become an ALT here in Japan, please just watch this video. Without further ado, let's get straight to the point. Beforehand, let's talk about the JET program. The JET program, JET stands for Japanese Exchange and Teaching Program, is actually a government program of the beautiful country of Japan. They are actually looking for ALTs or Assistant Language Teacher. But so since this is a Japanese government program, meaning to say, it is free. Walang placement fee, and ito ang difference niya sa mga dispatch agencies. Why am I saying this? Because you can also be an ALT under a dispatch agency. Yun nga lang, sa pagkakaalam ko, you will have to pay a particular amount for that. But under the JET program, it's free. Free to the extent na ang tanging babayaran mo lang is yung mga expenses mo sa pagpunta sa embassy for the interview, or pagpunta sa embassy for the other documents that you have to submit personally. But yung airfare, back and forth, yung pagpunta at yung pag-uwi, all of that ay sagot ng Japanese government. Now, if you would like to become an ALT, let's first talk about the key duties and responsibilities of an ALT. Siyempre, it is very important, bago ka mag-apply, alam mo kung ano yung sinasabak mo, alam mo yung pupuntahan mo. Ano nga ba ang key duties and responsibilities ng isang ALT? So, ano nga bang isang ALT? Ang ALT can be assigned to a private school, a public school, or local boards of education kung saan ka ma-assign. Yan ay nakadepende na sa Japanese government. Pwede kang magkaroon ng options kung saan mo gustong mapunta, pero ang magbibigay ng final decision is hindi ikaw. Ano ang primary task ng isang ALT? Your primary task is just to assist, hence the name, ALT. Assist who? Your JTE or the Japanese Teacher of English. Yes, that's why yung inyong role, yung ating role, yung inyong magiging role is napakagaan. You're not going to handle the class totally. Meaning to say, you are just there to serve as number 1, the language model, number 2, a cultural ambassador. Okay, how are you going to do that? There are 3 important points. Number 1, you are going to assist in the preparation of teaching materials. So, tama yung mga napapanood nating mga videos. Pwede kang mag-create ng mga classroom materials or instructional materials para sa lesson na i-deliver ng iyong JTE mainly, or i-deliver ninyong dalawa kasi meron kayong tinatawag na team teaching or collaborative teaching. There will also be times na ikaw yung magtuturo or mag-handle, but napakadalang ng opportunity na yun. And if I were you, kapag bibigyan ka ng chance na magturo or mag-handle ng class mo, grab it. Okay? And it's also a way for you to create an impression, diba? Number 2, planning and supervising extracurricular activities for students, such as English club or sports activities. But, of course, you have to talk to your JTE first. Makipag-usap ko muna sa main teacher. Take note that you are an assistant there. Do not overpower the role of your JTE. Okay? So, if you have suggestions, if you have inputs, pwede mo itong sabihin sa kanya. Pwede kang mag-suggest, there is a possibility na ma-approve, there is also a possibility na ma-decline. Pero okay lang yon. At least you've tried your best, magkikreate ka ng magandang impression that you would like to help and you would like to fulfill your role as an assistant. Number 3, organize cultural or international exchange programs. So, pwede kang mag-participate sa mga cultural and international exchange programs. But just like what I've said, you have to tell your GTEs or tell your vice principal or your principal about your plans. Okay, open communication is the name of the game. Those are the three main roles of an ALT. And later on, malalaman ninyo kung bakit importante na malaman nyo ang mga rules ng ALT bago kayo mag-apply. Let's now proceed to the eligibility requirements of being an ALT. You have to ask yourself, am I eligible? Qualified ba ako para mag-apply? Answer that, here is my take. Actually, maraming bullets ang eligibility requirements. But to put it in a capsule, nasa 4 lang yung iyong eligibility requirements na dapat ma-meet. Number 1, you must be a Filipino citizen. Para may-qualify yan through your passport or through any document that would support, that would prove that you are indeed a Filipino citizen. Passport or PSA. Ang ginawa ko noon, nung nag-apply ako, wala pa po akong passport. So, ang sinabit ko muna is any proof that I am a Filipino citizen. I submitted my PSA. And then, nung December, nung nakuha ko yung passport, that's the time I submitted my passport. Number 2, yung kakayahan mo to speak and write using English language. You are going to become an ALT, you're going to become a language model. Therefore, you should know how to use the English language in oral or in written form. You have to have a good command of the English language. Question, sir, kailangan ba masyadong technical ang paggamit ng language? Well, I would say, ito kasi mapapatunayan mo sa interview and during the exam. I'm giving you the clue already. In the interview, of course, you have to prove them that you can speak the language well, that you can speak clearly. Aside that it creates a good impression, it is giving the judges or the interviewers the hint that you can deliver your role well as ALT. But to tell you honestly, kapag ikaw ay magtuturo na sa mga Japanese learners, it is not that much of a structural language, but more of the conversational one. Makikipag-usap ka sa kanila using the English language, but the basic English will do. Number 3, you should be mentally and physically healthy. Okay, medyo maraming nagkakaproblema dito during the process. And paano nila ito i-gauge during your medical examination? Dapat maganda yung results ng iyong medical examination. So, siguro nasa phase 3 yan. Ako technically nagkaroon ng problema about dyan, pero naayos naman so far. So you will be encountering that. I will detail that out, that experience, that particular experience regarding my health conditions later on at kung paano ko siya nalampasan. Okay, number 4 is that you must have any bachelor's degree. Most frequently asked question, do I have to be an education graduate? No, you don't have to be an education graduate. Do I have to have a teaching experience? No, you don't have to have a teaching experience. And for the education graduates, they're asking, do we have to be an English major? No, you don't have to be an English major. But there's a big fat but. There is an advantage if you're an education graduate. Why? Because of course you're going to teach. There's also an advantage if you have a teaching experience. Again, because you're going to teach. There is an advantage if you're an English major. Why? Because you're going to teach English. If you have these requirements, you have to put all of this in your essay. Okay? Later on, if you talk about the essay, you will find out why. Now, siguro I would just add the 5th one. The 5th one is that you have to have the interest in Japan. Their culture, their norms, their customs, their tradition, their language, their lifestyle, everything about Japan. And you can only qualify and quantify that interest of yours about Japan in your SOP or in your essay. So you have to single that out. Rest of the bullets, nandyan siya, but I've already given you the key points. So daanan lang din natin, no? Be interested in Japan and willing to deepen their knowledge. Yes, that's very easy to qualify. Be both mentally and physically healthy, nasabi ko na yan. Be willing and able to adapt to living and working in Japan. And be determined to responsibly complete their period of participation. Dapat hindi ka magbaback up. Hold a bachelor's degree or higher or obtain such qualifications by the designated arrival date. Be a Filipino citizen. Be adept in contemporary standard pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation in English. And possess excellent language ability that can be applied accurately and appropriately. Next, not have participated on the program since the 2020 JET program. or have participated on the program for more than 6 years in total, kasi nga until 5 years lang ang total nito or ang maximum nito. You can renew it every year. Not have declined the position in the program. Dapat hindi ka na nag-apply noon tapos decline mo nung nakuha ka. It's a no-no. Not have lived in Japan for 6 or more years in total since 2013. Sa mga nagtatanong, ulitin ko lang, not have lived in Japan for 6 or more years in total since 2013. Next, have a desire to proactively maintain relations with Japan even after the completion of the program. Concerning entry into Japan for participation in the program, agree to reside in Japan under the status of residence. Be willing to obey all Japanese laws. Applicants with a suspended jail term must have finished their period of probation by the time they submit their application form and be interested in the Japanese education system. Interested in working with children and be qualified as a language teacher, or be strongly motivated to take part in the teaching of foreign languages. This time, let's talk about the additional points that you can obtain. Number 1, if you have a bachelor's degree or higher degree in English or in education. So that's a good point. Number 2, have a professional language teaching license and or experience, especially in classroom setting. Number 3, have a general teaching experience or qualifications. Classroom setting man yan or online man yan. I think better kung foreigners yung mga students mo or kung Japanese yung students mo during your online classes or online tutoring services. Next, have a Japanese language background and or Japanese study background. That's an additional point. I do not have this. Do not worry. Wala akong Japanese language background or Japanese study background. Hindi po ako nagpa-interview using Japanese at hindi rin po ako nag-take ng Nihongo test. My knowledge is 0, but I am very much willing to learn Japanese language when I will be accepted into this program. And I think that was a good remark. Ito, another point, have experience traveling or living in another country or in foreign countries. Of course, wala ako niyan. Whatever the question will be, you go back to the eligibility requirement. You go back to the ALT key roles and responsibilities. That's my tip. Remember that. Okay? Note, take note of this. An applicant's ability to use the English language accurately and appropriately will be assessed based on the information he or she will provide in the application documents, particularly in your SOP. So, do not submit an SOP na hindi na-check for so many times, na hindi mo chinek for a lot of times. If you can have a friend na mag-check ng iyong SOP, please let them do so. If you can have a critic, let them do it so. I will try to create another video for the SOP. Okay, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Next, as well as the results of an in-house English exam. Yes, there will be an in-house English exam, and I will be uploading a separate video regarding that, so please do subscribe to my channel. Next, the screening process also involves a teaching demonstration in English in a Nihongo conversation. Yes, there is a demo. You are going to submit a lesson plan, but I am going to create a separate video on that. Do not worry, the lesson plan is very basic. Kung ano yung ginagamit mong lesson plan sa iyong school, or if you don't have a lesson plan, there are available in the internet, just do it. So, wala silang ibibigay na template about the lesson plan. Just create your own and make it as simple as possible. Remember that your students are non-native speakers of English. They are Japanese students. So, you have to check the level of understanding of these non-native speakers of English to your lesson plan. That's a tip. But again, I will create another video on that. Nihongo exam? No, I didn't take it. I said I do not know. I don't want to take the risk. Kasi totoo, hindi ko naman talaga alam kung paano mag-Nihongo. So, I didn't take the exam. And wala naman siyang deduction.